It's Friday with the fellas, and we're fixing former Sun problems.
Almost.
Let's do it. It's PHNX
Almost.
Suns, and it starts, I think, in 30 seconds. It's Friday with the fellas, and I just found out that Bill Belichick's dating a 24-year-old. It's an OG's Flavoring Friday, too. I'm Espo, he's Saul, that's Gerald.
Why would you say Flavoring Friday on the back end of that? Oh, my God.
The worst possible way to set that up.
Oh my gosh.
I mean, I awkwardly had to sit here to do that cold open and then butchered it, so why not butcher the actual open, too?
We're off to a great start.
I mean, it is going to be one of those Fridays. We know how Fridays go on this program. Steven, I'm sorry we're going to just totally ruin your reputation in basketball circles today. This is how this shit goes. I apologize.
He's still got a pristine reputation. We must protect this man.
We'll fix that real quick.
That's why they got us so distance from each other. They can't get
It's awkward eye contact in these two seats, my friend. Look, guys, let's just hop right into it. NBA Finals very well may conclude tonight or Monday. That is where we're sitting with Boston leading 3-0. We've talked a lot about the games and everything surrounding it, but today I have one simple question for you guys. Two, technically. Is this the worst finals we've had in a while, and are you glad that it may come to an end soon?
Yeah, I would say yeah. It's right up there with one of the least
Entertaining.
At least entertaining. Yeah, it's just I thought it was gonna be much better than it has been. And there's multiple reasons why, but yeah, and it's definitely over this weekend. If it's not tonight, it'll definitely be Monday. Turn out the lights. The party's over.
Yeah, I'm kind of disappointed because coming into this series, I thought it would be a good and competitive series. I was excited by all the different storylines and eager to see how, Luka and Kyrie were going to navigate against this well-rounded Celtics team. I thought the Celtics would win. I didn't think it would be this handily, especially with Porzingis getting hurt again. So it has been disappointing, but I do feel like last year's finals was kind of a dud as well. Like it was kind of like we knew going in the Heat were kind of not a fluke, but they had to work really hard to get there, and the Nuggets were probably going to cruise in that series, and that's exactly what happened. So I'm still at least engaged with this one because of all the star players and the name recognition and just the high level basketball that Boston's playing. But yeah, it has been a little disappointing, obviously.
Yeah, it's been disappointing or underwhelming rather for me too.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like Boston will have some heavy hitting haymakers that they would throw, but it would come after a feeling out process, and there was no feeling out process.
Yeah.
They said these games are being played on our terms, and that's the end all be all. Like Saul said, I think it's over if not tonight, on Monday at the latest. So.
For me, Atlanta's been on the clock since the first round ended. After 4 games, like I this playoffs has had less intrigue to me, and part of it is the Suns, obviously, but there's also it's just been weird. Like Boston had ran through the East, and I don't begrudge them because the Suns had that path in the West where people kept getting injured in 2021. It's just they've been really, really great. It just hasn't been overly entertaining in that. The West was all right, but yeah, this has been a anticlimactic finals series where all we've had is the Luka storyline, and like we talked about yesterday, everything you're criticizing we already knew. So I'm not going to be too distraught if it ends tonight or on Monday.
I would have liked to seen Denver play Boston, but but they choked against Minnesota, and I thought I would have loved to see Denver take on Dallas as well. I thought that would have been a very intriguing matchup. But Boston is just showing you that they just have too much depth, too much power, too much speed, too much outside shooting. They're just they were the best all around team all season long, and they're just showing it right now. It sucks that it would be a sweep because I thought it would be a little bit more competitive than that. I thought Kyrie and Luka would be able to have a couple games together where they just played at such a crazy high level. But unfortunately, that hasn't really happened too much. And Luka's doing stupid shit in game 3 and cost them games. And here we are with a very underwhelming performance by the Dallas Mavericks. I saw a meme where they were like, the Dallas Mavericks, and they're like, who are you really? And they took off the mask, and it was the Cowboys.
Yeah. The Scooby-Doo meme.
Yeah, Scooby-Doo. That was pretty funny.
Hello to Killer Rex, Jeremy, Leo, Guest, Steven, Shakur, Amelia. Thanks for being here. We appreciate you. If you guys want to get more involved, become a diehard today. Go to gophnx.com. You're going to get great content from Gerald. And let us know, are you glad that the NBA Finals may mercifully come to an end tonight? If you want to become a diehard member, you're going to get that exclusive diehard membership card. I carry that everywhere. I show it to people.
You don't leave home without it?
I don't leave home without it.
That's good.
Free t-shirt every year or hat. Whatever you choose, you're going to get it. Access to all that premium content that Gerald writes, that Craig writes, that Jesse writes, plus some great video content that you're getting there as well. And then you could be in the Discord where you can talk shit to us and it's not out for public consumption. So that's fun as well. Had to go PHNX.com. And you know what? Our friends over at Chicken and Pickle, they're new sponsors here. And next week, we're going to do a trivia night out there, but that's not all they have. Like you can join us on June 20th from 7 to 9 p.m. for trivia. Going to be a lot of fun, but that's not all they have. I love Chicken and Pickle because it's pickleball.
Yeah.
It's fried food.
Mm-hmm.
It's beer. I mean, what else do you need? Yeah. And it's indoor pickleball this time of year too. It's not just outdoor court. So you got to check out our friends at Chicken and Pickle. They've got everything that you'd want for entertainment, and you get to meet us out there as well. We had some fun with our playoff watch parties out there. It's in the West Valley, but if you're in the East Valley, it's well worth the drive. I highly recommend it. And if you're in the West Valley and you're not already hanging out there, what the hell are you doing? Go out there. You've got a great venue right in your backyard there. It's super nice. And if you haven't taken up pickleball, I mean, even old guys like Saul and I can enjoy playing that game, and young guys like Gerald are pretty good at it too.
It's fun. I'm okay. I taught Amy how to play. She's
okay.
We got some paddles and stuff, so we're gonna start practicing. She enjoyed it the first time we went out there, so gonna have to take her to Chicken and Pickle.
You better.
Are they called paddles?
I think so.
Yeah, they're called paddles.
I didn't know. That was news to me.
Yeah, I thought it was rackets.
I did too.
You're gonna have to come out and play some chicken.
Listen, I was an all-team PE with pickleball.
All team
PE.
Hey man, I'll tell you what.
sir.
Yeah.
Man, your school gave out different awards than mine. I'll tell you
all
that.
team PE. Yeah, field day champion right here, baby. Let's go.
If you want to be a field day champion or prove your PE skills, head out to Chicken and Pickle. You can head to chickenandpickle.com to see all the fun you can have at their Glendale location.
AKA Kickball Hero.
One of my favorite games back in the day. Yeah,
You can still play it. They play like actual rec league games for adults.
Wow.
Yeah.
Pickleball.
So
Both.
you gotta. The next place we're talking about is near and dear to your heart, and I'm sure you'll partake this weekend. It's our friends at OG's.
Oh, the best edible in the game. We're definitely dabbling in a little bit of OG. I actually got invited to go to see a movie tonight. It's Inside Out 2.
Oh yeah.
And I never saw one, so I think I'm just gonna load up on some OGs and just
You never saw one?
see what goes on.
Oh.
You're gonna be loaded up on OGs watching a movie about teenage girl emotions. That'll be good.
And then I'm gonna go see.
High
Then I'm gonna do sushi and karaoke at some random ass place that's apparently having their last weekend because they're closing down. So
That's an emotionally charged fun night that you have ahead of you.
I don't know what I'm getting into. So here we go.
I think I'm gonna pop a few of the big slices of the big OGs tonight.
First of all,
A few big OGs.
First
few
of all,
slices.
no.
I'm going to.
Yeah, I
I'm
know.
going to the
Oh, we've seen
Batman
it.
Symphony where they're playing the 1989
that's
Batman
right.
with the music. The symphony's playing. I think that would be a spectacular OG's night, to be quite frank. So we're going to have some fun with that. But if you're looking for a good time this weekend, check out the OG's Naturals. If you're a vegan, they've got you covered. The Big OG's is that 100 milligram OGs cut into 10 milligram slices. I don't know why I hold up my hands like it's a hubcap. It's really not that
Dude,
big.
it's like this big.
But I like to imagine it's the size of a pizza.
It's
and you
not.
can enjoy it
It is
that way.
absolutely not.
So to learn more about OG's gummies and where you can find them, head over to ogsbrands.com. Must be 21 or over to enjoy, and please enjoy responsibly. We are going to redraft the 2014 NBA draft, a draft which the Phoenix Suns had 3 picks in, and only one guy had even the slightest amount of impact on the franchise. So, Gerald, do you want to remind people what those 3 picks were?
Yeah, so the Suns back then, this was back in a time when, 3 first-rounders in the same draft. What a privilege that was.
It really wasn't when you think about it.
No, it wasn't, because the team was terrible back then. But back in 2014, there was hope for that team because they were coming off a 48-win season. They had 3 first-rounders. They had picks at number 14, number 18, and number 27. And as history showed us, didn't get a lot of value out of those picks. But unlike the redraft that we did last week, there are a lot of good players in this draft.
Yes.
And because the Suns' last pick was at 27, we're going to be going through the top 30 for our redraft this time instead of just, I think we did, what did we do, 10 last time?
Yeah, we did 10 last time because there was barely 10 guys
rough draft.
that deserved to be drafted in that draft. So we're going to take a look here, and we're going to kind of go round robin. So, Steven, I'm going to start with you. You're going to get the number 1 pick here because you're the guest. The number 1 pick in the actual 2014 draft was the Cleveland Cavaliers. They took Andrew Wiggins. But when you're looking at this, I think there's one obvious number 1 pick here, Tyler Ennis.
No.
Bad.
I think this is rather obvious. I'm rocking with the one and only Nikola Jokic. Special talent. I feel like if we were having this conversation maybe even 2 years ago, I might have had a little bit more cause to pause. I feel like Joel was near that same level, and then Jokic just decided to kick the door down and then stand on top of the door and stomp his feet with his animals and all of that.
Yeah, with his horses.
Yes. So, yeah, it's Jokic, and I think that's a rather obvious pick.
I will only allow it if ESPN still runs the Taco Bell commercial during the pick.
Dude, that's crazy.
Because that is one of the greatest NBA moments ever, that a future MVP was drafted during a Taco Bell commercial. Sorry, Max. I know no free ads. Yeah. Number 2 was the Milwaukee Bucks, a franchise-altering pick here in Jabari Parker. Number 2, Gerald, I think I know who you'd go with.
Yeah, poor Jabari. It's not him. We're going to go with Joel Embiid here. It's like Steven was saying, those two neck and neck until the last couple of years, it's felt like. But Embiid at number 2 would still be a fantastic pick here. Sorry, Philly, you just missed out on your guy. It would have been fascinating to see how that would have panned out between Joel that year and Giannis the year prior at number 15. That would have been unreal. Twin Towers in the modern age. But yeah, I think Joel Embiid's pretty clearly the pick there.
Saul, we're entrusting the process to you, as Philly at number 3 originally took Joel Embiid. He's obviously off the board. Who would you go with?
It's a tough one right here because you got about 3 or 4 good candidates. But if you want to go back to a big, then I think you're going to end up going with Julius Randle at number 3. Julius Randle, solid player, obviously, for the Knicks. You got other guys on the board that are very, very good. I'm not taking anything away from them, but I just think that Julius Randle is probably a little bit better than what's left.
Yeah. So that leaves me at number 4 with Orlando. They took Aaron Gordon, and I think I would stick with that pick here.
Oh, really?
With the way it went. I mean, he was great there. He's been a great piece with Denver. I think I would stick with that. I know some people may slightly disagree, but I think he was good value at 4, and I think still is at this point. So, Steven, you are on the clock. The Utah Jazz selected Dante Exum with the number 5 pick.
Well, I'm going to go with the guard, but it's not going to be Dante Exum, unfortunately. It's somebody that I certainly enjoyed watching in college because of the capital D in bold and italics, Marcus Smart.
Okay.
Just all of the defense, all of the activity, just the charisma in general. It would be somewhat of a contrast to Utah for him to go there, but I think that would be a solid little fit for him right about now.
So Steven likes the D, so he's going with
not the
Smart.
Headline.
That's exactly capital D.
That is wild.
I told you we're going to ruin your reputation today.
Oh, no.
Gerald's on the clock at number 6. Boston originally took Marcus Smart. He's not there. Who are you going with?
Yeah, I mean, thank you guys for letting me get Zach LaVine to the Celtics because damn, the Celtics, man, they keep, we got to stop letting them get this talent. But yeah, I feel like Zach LaVine was interesting because a couple of years into his career when he was there in Minnesota with Wiggins, it was kind of feeling like, oh shit, like their better draft pick might have been the dude that they got later in the draft with LaVine, with how good he was early on. And I know he's on a massive contract now, and so his value's down, not a great defender, but Zach LaVine at number 6 in the draft is pretty great value there.
It's really good. It's really good.
So we are now at number 7, the vaunted Los Angeles Lakers, who took Julius Randle at that spot. Saul, who are you taking?
So, if you go to the board and you want to try and mimic exactly what they're doing and going with another big, you could. But I'm not going to do that. I'm going to go with a little bit of a hybrid player. There's 2 guys that I'm going between, but I am going to go with Andrew Wiggins.
Okay.
I think Wiggins showed you that when he is surrounded by good talent, that he can elevate his game. He was such a key part of the Warriors' run to a championship a couple of years ago. So I would go with Andrew Wiggins in this spot.
Yeah, I think this is a good pick. So to recap again, Cleveland at 1 went Nikola Jokic. Then at 2, Milwaukee went Joel Embiid. 3, Philly went Julius Randle. 4, Orlando went Aaron Gordon. They stood pat. 5, Utah took Marcus Smart. 6, Boston took Zach LaVine. And 7, the Lakers took Andrew Wiggins. We're at 8 now. Sacramento originally took Nick Stauskas.
Sauce Castillo.
Sauce Castillo. That was probably the most memorable thing about his career as well there.
Poor Sauce.
It's tough looking at this. I think I'm going to probably stay with, I don't know. I think I would probably go Clint Capella here.
Okay, there we go.
Okay. I think I'd probably go Clint Capella. I was thinking about going guard, but I think Clint Capella is probably where I'd go there.
Okay, so that was 8 to the Kings.
Yep.
Clint
so
Capella.
Sacramento went at 8 with there, and then 9 it was the Charlotte Hornets. Noah Vonleh was the pick.
Noah Vonleh.
I'm guessing we're not sticking with it.
No. This one is an interesting spot to be in. There's still a solid little portion of names that are still fairly solid now in their careers. I think the best pick at this point would be Jordan Clarkson.
Okay.
Just the prolificity as a scorer, the unpredictability with everything that he does. He's certainly ascended into his own, somewhat against the odds a little bit, through multiple stops in his career as well. He's at a nice little space right now with Utah, and I think he's made a solid little name for himself in the league.
Yeah.
So we're now at 10, and Philly is on the board again. And as a former Suns coach once said, you can't have too many Elfrid Paytons unless you're picking at 10 in the draft, and then it's one too many. So.
Yeah, that was rough, man, because the Magic made that trade for him, and then it was Elfrid Payton. And I kind of liked him too, but I'm going to go with Jeremy Grant here. That's a pretty good two-way pick for me. He would have been nice on that Magic team back in the day, I feel like. Yeah. But it's Orlando. So they've traded for that pick. So Jeremy Grant to the Magic at number 10. I think that's a big upgrade from what they got.
Yeah, at 11, Denver was on the clock. Doug McDermott was the pick. I believe this one was traded as well, right? So
Bulls at number 11.
Yeah. So originally held by Denver, traded to the Bulls. Doug McDermott. So where are we going? It ain't Doug McDermott, I'm guessing.
It's not going to be Doug McDermott. Since you didn't get Zach LaVine, or at least you don't have him now, I'm going to go with Spencer Dinwiddie.
Nice.
I think Spencer Dinwiddie. He's such a good guard. He's reliable. He's consistent for the most part. He obviously just murdered us a couple years ago in the playoffs. He was one of the ones that was kind of a sleeper that nobody really talks about in that series, about how he just – it felt like he couldn't miss a shot that whole series. So, I would go with Spencer Dinwiddie.
So, at number 12, Orlando held the pick. Dario Saric was the selection.
That went to Philly.
I'm not going Saric. I'm looking at this. I actually think that Bogdanovic probably would have been a pick here. And with Philly in that the process mindset, they could have waited a couple years. Suns did take him at 27. He obviously never played in Phoenix, but I think it would have made a lot of sense there for them at that pick. So we are now at the Minnesota pick at number 13, And Zach LaVine was the pick. He's long gone, but where would you have gone, Steven?
Now this is where it starts to get interesting. There's a shift from players that are still in main rotations to now he's starting to get some interesting names popping up, especially seeing who was actually drafted in 2014. You know, I'm going to go ahead and stick with Gary Harris.
Okay.
Gary Harris, didn't go to Michigan State, but always been a Michigan State supporter, big on Tom Izzo. Naturally knew about Matt before Matt became a Phoenix Suns owner. Gary, big-time 3-and-D defender in college. Was a player that did a little bit more than 3-and-D while he was at college, and then transitioned into the league. Carved out a nice little role for himself. Bounced around a little bit, but I think once he's found some health stability-wise, he's starting to kind of find a little bit of a home now.
Yeah. I remember when he got that contract extension from Denver, I was like, that's a really good extension, and then injuries kind of took the wind out of those sails, but solid two-way player. So the Suns are on the clock for me here at Phoenix, number 14, and that was the TJ Warren pick, which is not bad value for that slot, but I've got two players who have played for the Suns on my board here over TJ Warren. I'm torn between Nurk and Dario Saric here, and I think I'm going to give the edge to Nurk just based on body of work.
Oh, boy.
14, they would have just taken Alex Len in reality. Would you?
Oh, we're not doing that game.
We're not doing that?
No,
All
we're
right.
not doing that game.
We're not playing the real life game. We're just going,
No.
who would have been the best
We're doing
value?
best players
All right.
available.
All right. So we're ditching reality.
And given that they drafted Alex Len and how that worked out, that would have been the best pick still anyway.
Number 15 was Atlanta. Adrian Payne was the selection.
All right.
So where are you going here?
Yeah, I'm going to go with my favorite player on the board.
Okay.
This is solely a Saul pick because I just want to say this.
Okay.
I'm going Dougie McBuckets.
There you go.
McBuckets.
That's quality at that point at the tail end here of the lottery. So let's recap again. Jokic 1, Embiid 2, Julius Randle 3, Aaron Gordon 4, Marcus Smart 5, Zach LaVine 6, Andrew Wiggins 7, Clint Capella 8, Jordan Clarkson 9, Jeremy Grant 10, Spencer Dinwiddie 11, Bogdan Bogdanovic 12, 13 was Gary Harris, 14 Yusuf Nurkic, and number 15 Dougie McBuckets, Doug McDermott there. I love that you started the clock on Suns fans hating on Nurk years in advance of that.
That's crazy, man.
Unfortunately.
He's had a good career for himself if you look at his overall numbers over his career. I know people are low on him right now, but like, come on.
So number 16, we've got Chicago here on the clock, and I feel like we're getting into the...
Oh, that one was traded to Denver.
Okay, so we're getting into the what really works here kind of phase. I think I'd go Kyle Anderson here.
Okay.
Yeah, I just look at it. You're starting to get into guys who haven't hung on in the league that are left. So I think I would go Kyle Anderson at number 16.
He's been a solid utility guy for a couple teams.
17, the soon-to-be NBA champions, Boston Celtics. Steven, I really don't think you're going to take James Young here, so which is who they actually took.
No disrespect to James Young, but no, I'm not. The one and only Dario Saric is still on the board, correct?
Yes, he is.
Well, he is now no longer on the board.
There you go.
I'm going to go ahead and take Rio.
Okay.
Player that when he got traded to the Suns, or when he became a Phoenix Sun, I spoke to him having a little bit of Boris Diaw in his game, and him being able to connect things and be able to just be a connective piece for the team on both ends of the floor. I think there's a lot of value in Dario. He's had a solid career.
Yeah.
Might not have been as good as people expected him to be, but I still think he's been an above-average NBA player at multiple stretches in his career.
Yeah, there was that year he was the plus-minus god for the Suns.
Yes,
because sixth man off the bench.
You get the Suns again.
I do. I know.
Gerald's going to draft the whole Suns.
It's a lot of pressure. No, I was thinking low-key about taking TJ Warren again, but I'm going to mix it up for the sake of our redraft. At number 18, instead of Tyler Ennis, I am going to be taking Joe Harris, someone who led the league in three-point percentage, I think twice, at least once. and had a really nice career for himself until the recent injuries. So a little bit older player that we're drafting here, but I like him at number 18. That's good value.
Get that 3-point shooting rate up.
Yeah,
we've now reached the poo-poo platter of players left.
You don't want Tyler Ennis at this next pick?
No.
It's number 19. Chicago was the original holder of this pick. Is that who stayed with it?
19, it went to Denver.
Denver, okay.
Yeah.
A lot of trades in this one in particular. So Denver at 19 took Gary Harris. Who would you select?
Oh, well, since I'm drafting for Denver. You can never have enough of them.
Oh, boy. No
Alfred
way.
Payton, get fucked, Nuggets. Triple single.
Alfred Payton.
So I'm on the board, number 20, Toronto, and we don't talk about Bruno.
Poor Caboclo. 2 years away from being 2 years away.
I think I'd take Shabazz Napier here for Toronto. At
wow.
20.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
because I don't really want the Toronto to succeed.
So we're actively sabotaging that.
Yeah,
We've reached that point in the draft.
I don't know. I just the Raptor having beef with Booker. I still hold I hold a grudge.
You hold a grudge
I hold a
against
grudge.
the Raptor.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the most random petty grudge to hold.
I mean,
I think even Devin Booker's moved on.
I don't believe you.
it was actually Chris Paul that got into it with the Raptor, not Devin Booker in that situation.
Which, tracks.
21, OKC. Steven, you're on the clock. They drafted the most OKC name ever in Mitch McGary.
He had a great rookie year.
It screams Oklahoma City.
I will die on this hill. He had a good rookie year.
Who are you going with?
Like you said, we starting to get into the deep waters on this one.
I don't think that's what I said.
Oh, that's what you said. Excuse me. That's what Saul said. I was actually planning on Shabazz because that was one of the players I appreciated when he was in college.
Okay.
Coming off the championship, like we talked about pre-show.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go with Rodney Hood.
Okay.
Rodney Hood just can never get the three-point shot consistently. I feel like that's kind of what flipped his career from the upward trajectory to plateauing and then ultimately being where it is now.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, again, you get him in the right situation, that's the type of player that could potentially have still been playing now in a significant way as a role player. So, yeah, I'm going with Rodney Hood.
Okay. All right. I think you could make a case for TJ Warren. We're at the Grizzlies at number 22. I think you could make a case for TJ Warren, but I'm going to go with Torrey Craig instead. He was actually undrafted in this draft. So I feel like him on those grit and grind Grizzlies teams would actually be a lot of fun. Good two-way player, carved out a solid career as a journeyman for himself. So that's all you can kind of hope for at the number 22 pick, and hopefully the Suns are able to get someone similar in this draft in terms of carving out a career for themselves.
23, Utah. Saul, they originally took Rodney Hood. Who are you going to select?
Well, I know this player loves to just never talk. He doesn't want to talk to anybody. He'd rather stay in his little bubble.
Yep.
He'll have no problem doing that out in Utah because nobody wants to be out in Salt Lake City. So TJ Warren goes to the Utah Jazz. I hope you love just being in isolation.
My God, he would be so bored in that city.
Is that a pun?
24, the Charlotte Hornets selected Shabazz Napier. I think I'm going to go Dwight Powell here. Guy who has had
to the Heat?
Yeah. To the Heat, who got it from Charlotte. I think I'm going to go with Dwight Powell, a 10-year veteran. Had a pretty solid career. So you're on the clock, 25.
This is getting
Houston.
bad.
The Rockets.
Yeah. I think I'm going to end up going with Nick Stauskas.
Sauce Castillo, he made the cut.
He made it.
3-point shooting.
Okay.
Laser coming out of Michigan.
He had a couple good years.
Decent
years. Then it just fell off.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. No, 3-point shooting translates to any era.
Mm-hmm.
That's going to give you an opportunity to make something happen.
That is true. All right, so I could go in a couple of directions here. I feel like Jabari Parker should get drafted somewhere because as much as his career never panned out to what we thought it would be, he still played like 8 years in the league and had decent stats for some of them. But I'm not going to take him. I'm going to take Maxi Kleba. He was undrafted, going to the Charlotte Hornets, giving them some shooting, and we know that they loved in the draft their white guys that could shoot. So,
Saul. You're going to save the Phoenix Suns at number 27.
But do I?
Bogdanovich was
do I want to take this pick as if I was me, or do I want to take this pick as if I'm James Jones?
I'm concerned.
I feel like I want to go the JJ route.
If you could draft like a 35-year-old guy?
Man, no. But what I will draft is a development guy that I think could really reach his ceiling with the Phoenix Suns in our development team. Clay Anthony Early.
I wanted him to be good so bad.
Dude, he was
coming up next in the
athletic, he had good size, good athleticism, looked like he was going to be the real deal.
Yeah.
28, the Los Angeles Clippers, they had taken CJ Wilcox. I'm going to take Jabari Parker here.
Okay.
At 28,
that's great value.
You know, yes, his career got derailed by injuries and everything, but that's at 28, that's a pretty good value there. So we got 2 more picks. Steven, you're on the clock, Oklahoma City right now.
Well, I'm going to go with, and it's 2 athletic guys, both of which did not have the staying power that you might hope for. I'm looking between KJ McDaniels and Tyler Ennis.
Okay.
I'm going to go with KJ.
Okay.
I think KJ is just the athleticism part more than anything, just being able to buy into the development of somebody with so much raw athleticism and seeing how much you can get out of that. I like that projecting forward. It's kind of a project like we talked about yesterday with a couple of picks we spoke about.
Yeah, okay.
All right, who are the Spurs taking?
Who are the Spurs taking?
In the first round?
Yeah, they got Kyle Anderson here originally, which was a really good pick for the Spurs end of the round.
Very Spurs.
I mean, there are some options here because we still, like, Tyler Johnson was undrafted. Dante Exum, I don't think we've taken him yet.
No.
Who else? Langston Galloway, undrafted, our guy. I'm probably going to go with Dante Exum just because I feel like he's been able to reinvent himself and have a second crack at his career. So at the end of the 3rd round, number 30, that's sure. And him on the Spurs. End of the 1st round. Him on the Spurs, probably his career might have looked a whole lot different.
Wrong pick.
Oh yeah,
Thanasis. Thanasis Antetokounmpo.
Wrong picky, Fed.
Don't make an asses of your Thanasis.
just because you might get Giannis if you're Pop there eventually. So we're going to take a break and then go to the 2nd round. I'm just kidding.
I was like, wait, what? I got to take Steven to the airport. Bye.
Give me Jordan McRae.
All right. Let's quickly go through this. The order: Jokic, Embiid, Randall, Gordon, Smart, Levine, Wiggins, Capella, Clarkson, Grant, Dinwiddie, Bogdanovich, Gary Harris, Yusuf Nurkic, Doug McDermott, Kyle Anderson, Dario Saric, Joe Harris, Elfrid Payton, Shabazz Napier, Rodney Hood, Torrey Craig, TJ Warren, Dwight Powell, Sauce Castillo, Nick Stauskas, Maxi Kleber, Clay Anthony Early, Jabari Parker, KJ McDaniels, and Dante Exum. There was a lot more talent in this one than the previous redraft we did there. So that is how it would have netted out if you had hindsight and you made the draft, redid the draft for 2014. So, gentlemen, we got plenty more coming up, and we're going to have a fun draft here in just a second. But I want to I'm going to let Saul do this one. Do you want to tell us about our friends at...
Oh, I wish I would have known that before the show because I have props.
You have props.
But I didn't know.
Do you want to save your run at this for next time?
Sure.
All right. You don't have the balls to do it, but I do.
Oh my God.
And if you want to trim those, our friends over at Manscaped have got you covered. Yeah, Steven, I know. Welcome to our world. Hey, you know what? Father's Day is on Sunday, and you might need to get a gift. And, like all of us, this is what you think of when you think of things I need to get Dad. You can get him a lawnmower gift 5.0 for all of his grooming needs. I like the trimmer for the beard. They have some great trimmers for your facial hair. It's not just all below the belt. So, you don't have to always think about that with Manscaped because they take care of you. It's the total package. Unintended. So check them out. We got a special deal just for you. Get 20% off and free shipping when you use the code SONS at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. Use the promo code SONS. I think they want you to know to use the promo code SONS at manscaped.com because you can get 20% off. It's only in here 6 times. So never forget where you came from, and if you know what I mean. Happy Father's Day from Manscaped. So, there you go. No easy transition, so let's just get into it. You want $200? We can get you that as well. That's actually a nice Father's Day gift. Giving Dad just $200 cash and go, hey, you go pick out your own whatever you want, right?
Or use the $200 to buy him something.
Or let him buy you something, because you know what, Dad? You know what, Dad?
Day is
I'm a father too, all right? You have a grandkid because of me. But Desert Financial Credit Union wants to help you take care of Dad and take care of your financial needs. They've been in town for 84 years. That's right, 84 years, which for most of us, our dads are younger than that, but our granddads are not. 84 years they've been here. Desert Financial are financial experts. They're going to help you reach your financial dreams with mortgages, loans, credit cards, investment options, and oh so much more. So join a credit union that is committed to giving back to the community and sharing success. When you open a free checking account online, get $200 in bonuses. Get started by visiting desertfinancial.com/200. It's Friday, which means we're going to do our snake draft.
Let's go.
Steven, this is your first. You're going to have fun with this. Today we are drafting best apps on your phone.
Okay.
All right. It's simple. So we all have phones. We all use apps. We all should know this one. I don't know what the order we're going in is. So I'm going to turn to our producer, Eric, and see if he can show me what the order we're going in is. So Steven won, me, Saul, Gerald. Okay. All right. So Steven, you are on the clock in our app draft here.
First one I'm going with, I'm big on family, big on being in contact with people. Also like talking business when need be. I'm going with, well, I guess the first question is, so if we do the phone app, is that just for phone calls? Is that like, is it voicemail?
It's voice.
It's whatever the
app itself does.
So give me the phone app then. I'll take the phone app.
I think that's quality. It's simplistic. It's what the device is meant for, but I think that's great. Okay. I'm going to go, it's another simple one, but web browser, whether it's Chrome, Safari, I think we can just say a web browser because default, that's where I head to on my phone the most. So that's my number one pick.
Okay.
That's where you hit the most, huh? I think you both missed the boat on this one. Same, simple. I'm not overthinking this. I just think everybody would rather text than call. And so I'm going with the Messenger app. Like that's number one on the board in my opinion.
It just gives me anxiety.
That's the number one thing that everybody uses on their phone. I don't know how you can miss.
Mr. Pick up the phone and call me.
That's my preferred method. 1,000,000%, but that doesn't mean that's the majority. So trust me, I know.
All right. Well, this is going to be, you guys are going for functionality, and I appreciate that. I'm going to go for the ones that I spend the most time on. So I'm going to take Twitter at number 4. It's not what it used to be anymore. I miss the old Twitter, but it's still, I'm basically still addicted to it, and I use it all the time for my job, and we're on it all the time pretty much. So Twitter number 4, and then I'm gonna take Instagram number 5. It's another popular one that I spend a lot of time on, and for my job now spend more time on it than I used to. And it's a good way to keep in touch with people because we all know Facebook is not hasn't been that app for a while.
I'm between 2. Actually 3. It's really tough for me. I want to go with the one that has the most users in the world.
Yeah.
Which would be Snapchat.
Oh, okay.
I'm going to go with Snapchat.
All right. Okay.
So you've left a couple here that I'm very intrigued by.
Hoping to get one on the comeback.
I'm going against my better judgment here, and I'm going to go. There's one I think I should go with, but I'm going to go with YouTube, the YouTube app.
That's a good one.
Second largest search engine in the world.
I was between YouTube, Twitter, and IG.
That was going to be my next one.
Yeah.
You get back to back, don't you?
No,
Steven does, and then
he gets back to back. You stole my shit. You gotta be able to keep track of your funds in some capacity. Let me get the Chase app.
Okay. Want a bank specific?
All right.
Let's just go banking app.
Banking app?
Banking
Okay.
app.
Excuse me.
No free ads.
All right, cool.
Desert Financial.
Okay, all right.
There you
This
go.
man gets it.
Mhm.
He's been here 2 days. He already gets
I
the
don't think
game.
they have Desert Financial in Chicago, so he's just pandering now.
Try snitching.
There's deserts
Get out
in
of here.
Chicago, right?
So you get a second pick here.
Gotcha.
So you're on the comeback here.
And I'm also go with the camera app.
Okay.
Talk about
Yeah.
keeping in touch with family, being able to take pictures. Pictures last forever.
Mm-hmm.
So give me that camera app.
That's a good one. That's back to you.
Yeah, and I'm still in a dilemma because the other one, I'm gonna go with the Messenger app, the Facebook Messenger app, because
okay.
I use that a lot. So let's go
Okay.
with that.
I guess I'm just gonna go with the young kids these days.
I knew you were.
So I'm gonna go with TikTok.
Yeah,
TikTok.
good pick.
That
Let's
was
go.
the one
it's a good pick.
That was the one I kept debating.
Yeah, I feel like I got a pretty good little.
Yeah.
I mean, this is definitely a teenager centric
Oriented.
kind of draft that I got.
Yeah, you got the
Yeah.
Snapchat one
Messenger,
too.
Snapchat, TikTok.
It's wild on your phone.
Yeah. Well, I don't. To be clear, I don't use Snapchat at all.
Yeah.
I know my kids do.
Mm-hmm.
What's your snap? That's all I hear.
Yep.
What's your snap?
What's your snap?
I'm like, all right.
Okay, so I got back-to-back picks now. Guys, we've been woefully selling our phones short in terms of how often we use them for music. So I'm going to go with Spotify for my first pick here. And then I'm going to go with, I'll add a little functionality in there. I'll do FaceTime. I think that's a good
That's a
one.
good pick, especially this late.
My turn.
Yep.
Oh
you're back
yes,
up.
thank God. All right, now we're gonna even this out a little bit.
Mm.
I'm going again functionality.
Yeah.
Email.
Yeah, that's a
The
good
email
one.
app.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everybody uses that every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Cringe. That's another one that I cringe when I think about using it. But yes, I do every single day. You know what? What are we on right now? We're on a podcast. I'm taking the Apple Podcast
There you
app
go.
because I spend so much time on my drive using that. So, Steven, you're up with 2.
I don't know where y'all getting y'all apps from if you can't get to the store. I'm pigeonholing.
I knew
all of
somebody
y'all.
would take the
Give me
App
the
Store.
Give me the App Store. I want the whole thing.
That's a big brain pick there. I like that. Yeah.
Gotta play chess. So y'all want to get those
that's
little
great.
apps in there? Come see me.
I think we need to slow down for our guy
Oh yeah. Okay.
Eric.
Okay, so let's recap what we got so far. So number 1 pick was the phone app from Steven. Espo took web browser at number 2. Saul went messages at number 3. Then at number 4, I took Twitter, and then Instagram at number 5 after that. Saul took Snapchat number 6. Espo went YouTube at number 7. Steven went banking apps at number 8. And then camera at number 9. At number 10, Espo took Facebook Messenger. Saul took TikTok at number 11. That's a good value pick. Gerald took Spotify at number 12. And then FaceTime at 13. Email for Saul at 14. Podcast for Espo at 15. And the App Store for Steven at 16. So Steven is still on the clock for his second pick, right? Or I guess fourth pick.
His last
now.
pick.
Yeah.
Should be his last pick.
Oh, yeah, last pick.
5th pick.
That's right.
Talking about functionality,
Mhm.
talking about being organized, all of that fun stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Let me get the calendar app.
Okay, there you go. Calendar at
You're a very function guy here.
the
but
17th
Listen,
overall
without
pick.
it, we'd be all over the place.
I don't know, man. I think he's gonna get railroaded on this one.
But you know what? I'm getting the best pick with my final pick.
Are you?
Like the best value in this draft.
Okay, we'll see.
We are all like everything we've become dumber with since we've gotten a smartphone, right?
Yes.
We can't find anything without the Maps app.
Yep.
Like Google
Mhm.
Maps is
Yep.
the answer here
Good one.
because
Good value.
nobody get anywhere without
Mhm.
without the GPS now.
That was going to be my last pick.
so yeah,
That's a good
I'm
pick.
taking it.
Oh boy. Okay.
There's a lot still on the board.
Yeah, it's a little tough though because they're all a little neutral to me.
Mm-hmm.
There's one really good one that's still out there.
I think if I had to go with it, yeah, I'm going to do it. I know it's for the older people, but I'm gonna go Facebook.
I knew it.
Facebook. I mean,
Mhm.
listen, in the final pick, Facebook.
That's not valid.
Still millions and millions of people still use it. That's the thing that's crazy is like we all use Twitter so much. Like that's our dominant app that we use. But a majority of people, it's always Facebook or Instagram or all the other apps. Really, it's crazy to see the numbers on that. So yeah, I think Facebook is a good value pick.
Home of misinformation.
Well, it all is.
True.
It's not like Twitter is the bastion of clarity.
Very, very true.
Yeah. Oh,
Gerald,
man.
you gotta wrap it up here. There's one that if none of us pick, I'm gonna be pretty surprised here.
See, I feel like I don't want functionality. I kind of want a fun pick to close things out here. So I'm gonna go old school. I'm gonna go Shazam.
I was just looking at Shazam.
I use that more than I think a lot of people would realize, because you hear a good song and you're like, what is that song? Shazam. Still use it. Still love it.
So one that I think is an egregious one that we all left off.
What?
Amazon.
I was looking
I looked
Amazon.
at that.
I honestly use that
mean,
more in my web browser than on my app.
Yeah, I didn't think it was necessarily just because of that. So.
I didn't think for us, but I know a lot of people, certain demographics use the hell out of.
I was
Sure.
torn
Amazon
between
app.
Amazon, the Shazam, and then calculator and weather, but those were kind of boring utility picks.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah.
I thought flashlight too, because you wind up. But I don't know if that's technically
It
an
used
app,
to be
right?
an app,
Yeah,
and
but
then they just added like you can just turn your camera flashlight on.
I thought about like an actual like Netflix or something like that.
I did too. Or like Duolingo. A lot of people love that shit.
Venmo, somebody in the chat.
That's a good one.
Jeremy said in the chat. I think that's a good one. Pease goes MySpace. Yeah, no, never made it into an app.
Love
You'd
that.
have to use the web browser.
Okay, so
For that. So a WhatsApp, Eli says. I think that's a smart one. I've never used it, but I know it's extremely popular. So.
I've used it a couple of times, but I've never had the need to use it. You know.
So Eric, were there any others? Can you scroll up? I just want to see if anybody else had any. It's a fart app from Eli.
Love
That's wild.
Vine. I loved Vine, man.
Leo with the Ring app. I actually, you know what? I think that could have been a quality last round pick because I'm checking my home, the doorbell constantly when it goes off and those kind of things.
I have Vivint, so I didn't.
And there you go.
So that's our app.
So we
draft.
want to
Let's
recap
it here, so you can all realize I won this one. So.
All right, Steven, what did you get? We got yours picks up here.
I did the phone app first of all. Then I went to banking second.
Mm-hmm.
Thirdly, I went to the camera app. Fourthly was the app store.
Mm-hmm.
And then lastly, I went with the calendar. So looking at it, super duper functional.
Yeah.
Why do you need?
Super boring.
Yeah, why do you need the app store? All your stuff comes pre-installed on the phone.
That's true.
To get
That
more.
is true.
That
is absolutely
true.
Except for banking is
bank-
the one.
okay. You went like, what comes stock out of the box with this phone? I'll go with those.
What was the best app that I drafted then?
The best app that you drafted was probably Camera.
I think the App
Or
Store
just-
was the best because the logic that I can't get any other apps if I don't have this one app is pretty freaking solid.
Yeah, but the click rate in the App Store is very, very low.
That's true. My wife suggested Discord.
Somebody said
Yeah.
OnlyFans.
That'd be good. Someone did say OnlyFans.
Flex yesterday said fucking Pornhub. I was like, bro, that's not an app.
there's
Well,
no
then
app
he
for
had to
that.
he actually searched whether it
You
was.
knew I was going to bring that shit up, Eric.
Damn.
Meatloaf says Pokemon Go. That would have been a Lindsay pick.
Oh, she would have
That-
picked that for sure.
Yeah,
she would've.
she's like one of 3 people that still uses it. On
She would have taken that way too high in the draft.
Yeah,
Probably
she
would have been number 1.
Or
all
she
right.
would have picked Netflix America, Netflix Japan, Netflix Mexico.
Yes.
She'd have picked all the Netflixes.
Tracy, my wife again, says Sheets because she is a spreadsheet junkie. So
Okay.
yeah, we'll pull up mine. I'll run through them. So we'll go web browser, YouTube, Facebook Messenger, podcasts, and maps. I give you a hard time,
Yours
and I
is
think
a lot
3
of
of mine
utility
are
as well.
pretty solid.
I'll go next. So my picks were the Messenger app, Snapchat, TikTok, email, and then Facebook.
Okay.
So I got a little bit all over the place.
Mm-hmm. And then mine were, let's see, I had Twitter, Instagram, Spotify, FaceTime, and Shazam. Mine were mostly fun picks, but ones that I use a lot.
DoorDash and Uber. DoorDash, man, that would have been a good one too.
I was thinking about it, but there was like too many of them. There's like DoorDash, there's Grubhub, there's Postmates. I was like,
I think
could have, but
I think
that's no
Lyft,
fun.
Uber. If I lived in a major city, like if I lived downtown in like a New York or something, would have been an answer. But I don't use it as often as others probably do in a city like that.
Probably would have been a good one because I mean I use it pretty frequently when like traveling or whatever. So
I think you're gonna get burned on Shazam.
I don't think so. I think my first 4 picks are pretty strong.
The way to Twitter probably helps them out.
Like I got some heavy hitters: Twitter, IG, and Spotify.
Yeah, I can't wait for Steven to just win out of just utility,
just out of functionality.
He's like, hey, I just drafted those guys that are just always on a team that are glue guys. Just it makes sense. So we'll put this up online. You'll be able to vote for who your winner is. It is time to get out of here. It is. Steven's got to get back on an airplane to head back home. And we got to start our weekend. So, let's get that going here. Steven, I always forget your Twitter handle.
Stay true S.3.
Again, it sounds like you're coding something. So, do you want to promote anything? You've been our guest the last 2 days. You want to promote anything?
I have some written content and just some things, generally speaking, on the Phoenix Mercury coming up over the next couple of weeks. Plenty to talk about with that team. And then also my YouTube channel. A lot of like the film session and just kind of looking at things from a more specific lens comes on Twitter, but also I funnel it through my YouTube channel as well as interactions with players and coaches. So yeah, you can follow me on YouTube at Steven Prejean Gardner and then the number 3. Shoot me a subscription, like some videos. There's a lot of Sun stuff on there. So they're not playing now. It's gonna be a nice little pocket of time before Summer League. You can find some stuff to kind of dive into and see things through a different lens on there.
I don't think people give your last name enough credit. When you pronounce it, it just sounds poetic. I think more people need to work on.
Well, that's because I've been saying it for 29 years. At some point it kind of clicks for me.
You can follow Gerald at Gerald Bourget on Twitter. You can follow
Saul_Bookman. I don't want him to ruin it.
Bookman.
You can follow the show at PHNX_Suns. You can follow me at Espo. And thank God Lindsay's coming back on Monday and I don't have to host anymore. Ahoy, hoy.
We all silly like the mayor.